Have you seen this man? He's arguably the most famous guy in internet history, and while his renown is international and his accolades endless, the question remains, what does the Trollface actually do for a living? This is Trollface, and he's been the avatar of internet trolling, griefing, and tomfoolery since 2008.
Damn! I'm sorry.
It goes without saying that Trollface and his cohorts, Me Gusta, Rage Guy, Forever Alone, etc., are relics from a bygone era. Like any meme, their popularity faded with time, and these days, Rage comics in general have taken a backseat to their modern counterparts, Wojaks. But that doesn't mean that they're gone altogether. The fascinating thing about Rage faces is their tendency to just pop back up over and over and over again, and it's not hard to see why. They're iconic, they're weird looking, and they are surprisingly malleable. But 2026's iteration of Trollface looks a bit different than you might be used to, and here's why. This version of the character is known as Realistic Trollface, aka the most famous man on the internet. And like many memes in the Big 26, Realistic Trollface is the product of AI. He was first generated in November of 2025 by Instagram user Linus Eckenstam, but his true rise to prominence came months later, in April of 2026, when he blew up on TikTok. Specifically, a TikTok user named Ty Memes pranked his teacher by forcing him to open an email with the singular image in it being the Realistic Trollface. So, in the spirit of old school internet memes, this guy really did, like, vintage style epically troll his teacher, and in so doing, he inspired a wave of similar pranks. Realistic Trollface was quickly turned into the newest brain-rot meme. Fans and worshippers around the world raced each other to edit him in the most cursed manner possible, turning this already unsettling mascot into something truly beyond comprehension. But this all started from a specific piece of recent source material, and that brings us back to Linus Eckenstam, the guy who generated the original AI video. In it, Realistic Trollface says the now iconic line.
Hey, you might know me already, but I'm here to introduce myself as the most famous man on the internet. The main question though, what does a simple man like me do for a living?
And this ushered in the Realistic Trollface era in earnest, but there's a lot more going on here than just ironically reheating an old meme. So to truly understand why Rage comics, and the Trollface specifically, just won't die, we need to take a quick minute to explain some prehistoric meme history. So let's dive in. The earliest Rage comics appeared on 4chan in 2008. The Rage comics naming convention comes from a meme of the same name, Rage Guy, a simple black and white MS Paint drawing that perfectly captures the feeling of incoherent rage. Specifically, Rage Guy's big break came in the form of a comic about how rage-inducing it is to take a poop and feel the water strike back. This comic tapped into the wider emotional substrate of the internet. We all hate when that happens, and thus, a meme was born. And by 2010, you couldn't throw a stone on Reddit, 9gag, even Hot Topic, without seeing the Rage face. And they were using this guy to express the full spectrum of human anger. Everything from the devastation of seeing a cute girl reading a book, only to find out that the book is Twilight, a horrifying twist of events if you were a teenage boy in 2009. Everything from that all the way up to accidentally pouring orange juice in your cereal. Remember, we take for granted now that memes derive their humor and their staying power from absurdity and irony. But that was far from the case for the most part in the 2000s and 2010s. Back then, in most cases, all a meme had to do to be funny was be super relatable. So if a meme about rage alone could blow up this much, why not try and memify all the other emotions? And that is exactly what people did. Into the early 2010s, the Rage Comics universe extended to include a host of original Microsoft Paint characters, and each of them had a personality and a specific use case. Let's now come back to Trollface, who is a classic archetypal example of a Rage comic. So where did he come from? Trollface is the creation of the artist Carlos Ramirez, better known online as Win. It all went down on September 19th of 2008 on DeviantArt. That day, Win uploaded a comic starring the Trollface, in which your typical internet troll is presented not as an awesome, cool, epic-based guy, but as an idiot who crashes out online when confronted with the fact that he is wrong. But the people fell so in love with his epic troll persona that that's just how they used him anyway. Also, since there is no other place to mention this and it is kind of relevant, the reason the Trollface design looks like that is because what Win was actually allegedly attempting to draw that day was a rat character known as the rodent. In any case, by 2009, the Trollface all but dominated websites like 4chan, Reddit, and Tumblr. He had become a symbol for internet trolls internationally. However, Win, as the artist, had some strong feelings about the adaptation of his original character, especially when it came to a subreddit called F7U12. F7U12 for short, fuck for long, was launched on December 29th of 2008 with the sole purpose of being a hub for rage comics. This took off nearly right away. F7U12 grew massively popular in the early 2010s and played a major role in popularizing the main rage comics that most people remember today. Fuck Yeah Guy, Rage Guy's Foil, Everything Went Better Than Expected Guy, you name it, it was on there. But it wasn't all fun and games. In 2010, Win had had enough, and he filed a copyright claim for his Trollface creation. To be clear, this was his original artwork, and it was being reproduced, changed, and even monetized by thousands of strangers with virtually no attribution to the original artist. And make no mistake, the Trollface was born on DeviantArt. He is artwork. But Win was not in for an easy time. In 2011, an email that he allegedly wrote was reposted to the F7U12 subreddit. In it, Win asserts his copyright claim on Trollface, and he demands that a Reddit group that had been misusing the face be taken offline. The comments were a sea of Reddit rage. "This is ridiculous," they said. "The Trollface is fair use. It's our thing now." Some expressed disbelief that a person could even copyright a meme, and others found Win's reaction to the popularity of the Trollface to be so over the top that they wondered if the entire post was a troll. Others still accused Win of hypocrisy, citing his own quotes from his prior interviews, including one purportedly taken from a Q&A where Win said, quote, "Most of the time Trollface shows up, I'm not credited. On one hand, you really want people to know you made it, but on the other, there's no way to do it without seeming overly possessive and self-important. It wasn't a significant effort on my part. It was ultimately the user base that made it popular, so in that sense, it belongs to everyone." End quote. In the end, F7U12 stayed online, and they even changed their background to an image of the Trollface captioned, "Hey Win, you mad, bro?" But that didn't mean that Win was totally screwed. In 2015, he successfully got the game Meme Run taken off of the Wii U eShop for copyright infringement. In an interview with Kotaku, he even claimed that he had made upwards of $100,000 in licensing fees, settlements, and other payouts since getting his copyright in 2010. And on the topic of Meme Run, he had this to say, quote, "If it's a really minor thing, I can't be bothered with it. If they're not making any significant money on it, it's like, not a big deal. If you're publishing a game on a major platform and it's using my image, it's kind of hard to ignore." End quote. So copyrights and slap fights aside, what is the staying power? What made rage comics so huge? It might actually be helpful to think of them as the 2010s internet equivalent to a beloved cartoon. There was a cast of characters, there were scenarios, there was even a leading man, the Trollface. And like a beloved cartoon, there was the inevitable decline and the ironic resurrection. In 2020, years after the entire life cycle of rage comics had more or less concluded, there came a resurrection. The internet masses unearthed something called troll science, a subgenre of rage comics from the original 2010s era, where trolls offer ridiculous science answers to stupid problems. And the reason the revival took place in 2020 is pretty straightforward. We were now squarely in the ironic, unrelatable era of memes. The relatable 2010s meme just wasn't cutting it anymore. Nothing had to make sense, it just had to get a reaction. And when this ironic rage comic about the Trollface covering himself in oil so that when it rained, he would float, when that masterpiece hit the internet, it was rage comic insanity all over again. The oil comic exploded on 9gag and then Reddit, and then it leaked out into the wider internet. The Trollface was back, and that was just the start. For example, there's also Trollge. And just follow me here. Trollge is a creepypasta interpretation of the Trollface, and it was first posted to iFunny in July of 2020 by the user Jolene C. It began as an original Trollface GIF from 2012, however, in this edit, the Trollface's grin morphs into something decidedly far more sinister, where cover yourself in oil took Trollface in an ironic direction. Trollge leaned into the unexplored dark psychology of the Trollface. Trollge was quickly adopted as a creepy motif paired with unsettling captions, eerie imagery, and warning signs. And in true creepypasta spirit, they got to work and immediately turned him into a horror mascot bent on ending all human life. From there, Trollge and the original Trollface became inseparable from the emergent meme subgenre known as schizoposting, which is kind of a general description, but in this specific context, it's all about role-playing and creating memes through the perspective of someone losing their grip on sanity. This was such a hit, in fact, that there are now several major schizoposting subformats based solely on the Trollface. Most notable among them is the I hate the Antichrist meme, where the Trollface is barricaded in a corner and he's standing his ground against the UN, or as he puts it, the Antichrist. Another popular format is Pill Time, where Trollface takes his medication and watches his imaginary wife vanish before his eyes. Sometimes, instead of his imaginary wife, it's the baby. Equally tragic. And I'm telling you about all these different manifestations of the Trollface because it cannot be emphasized enough. The Trollface is capable of adapting shockingly well to any meme landscape. The Trollface, much like his troll namesake, just cannot leave you alone. And this brings us all the way back to the most famous man on the internet. In 2026, yet another iteration of our beloved troll hit the web, the realistic Trollface. And in this incarnation, he is an AI-generated visage of what the Trollface might look like in real life if he had human features. It's a visual monstrosity that nobody asked for, and yet, it is perfectly compatible with our current meme craze, brain rot. Now, Trollface is not the only rage comic who's had a realistic AI makeover. In fact, the other prominent character in this trend is the Forever Alone guy. He's a rage comic from that original generation, posted in May 2010 by iFunny user Azul. And as his name suggests, Forever Alone guy is used to express anxiety about being single and forever alone. And then, as if his life couldn't get any worse, they ran him through the AI meat grinder and made him just as disturbing as realistic Trollface. Also, apparently one of the things with this meme is that people find his voice very irritating. Like realistic Trollface, Forever Alone first went viral as an alleged prank email that was sent to a teacher. The email reads, and if you weren't around, you gotta understand this language is like almost spot on for how people talked online in 2010. It reads, "El teach, why do I have El bad grade? Why yo bully meh?" And this language is actually super interesting in this context. For those unaware, rage comics had both a visual and verbal signature. The French article les, as in the masculine version of the word the, was a mainstay of rage comic captions. And I'm not exaggerating, every single meme would say something like lay me, or lay bird, or lay fish. It was lay everything. That was a huge thing back then. What's really weird about this one, though, is that someone from 2026 used meh correctly, but then used L instead of lay. Very weird detail to get half right. But that's besides the point. Like everything else right now, The Forever Alone memes quickly devolved into brain rot. Forever Alone guy was further corrupted by AI and made to say the phrase, "Why you bully me?" over and over again. And just so we're following, the funk remix of this meme, created by TikTok user Pulsion, has over 2 million views. And as the top comment so succinctly puts it, this shit genuinely some internet pollution. To meme scientists at present, it's still unclear how long these realistic rage comic characters are gonna last, provided they do at all, in the modern breakneck landscape of short-form content. Some have argued that such time has already come. Allegedly, the fall-off with these already began a week into June 2026. But it bears repeating. The fact that rage comics came back at all, multiple times, is unprecedented. The people sharing AI rage comics right now are by and large too young to remember the originals, so it's definitely something more powerful than nostalgia that's keeping us hooked. Rage comics, subjective beauty aside, are striking, evocative, and well-designed. And that goes a very long way. And we shouldn't forget the sacrifices that it took to get here. The vast majority of rage comic characters fell into complete obscurity, with the exception of very few who bloom every few seasons. There's Migusta, a face designed by May Oswald in early 2010 that depicts a feeling of all-consuming joy, like joy so big it's dead serious. There's also the derp face, which was once so popular that it defined millennial humor. In the 2010s, derp became the new dumb, and it was a genuinely inescapable turn of phrase if you were online. Some extant rage comics are actually based on real people, like the Yao Ming bitch please face, the Are You Serious face based on David Silverman, and arguably the best known of all, the Not Bad face based on Barack Obama. And interestingly, some, like the LOL guy or the poker face, still remain in use as reaction images. And for all the ladies out there, lest we forget Derpina. In 2018, this empty-headed queen resurfaced via the "Mom, can you give me money" meme. And she's been getting sincere fan art ever since. But we could do this all day, so let's get to the point. By some measure, rage comics are like a cartoon or comic collectively owned by the internet. It's a collaborative project featuring established characters with distinct personalities, a stylistic format, and a universe of spin-offs and crossovers to explore. The success of Trollge and all these other strange Trollface variations, it was no accident. They already had the stuff. We are clearly pulled in again and again by these classic internet isms. So, maybe it pisses you off to see your favorite rage comic guy recreated in AI, and that's valid. But consider the much more important question. You mad, bro?